Awesome. Welcome to How to Write a Smooth Jazz Piece with Electronic Elements. So, if you haven't watched the first part, go ahead and watch the first part, after or whatever, if you're watching the replay, make sure you watch the first part if you can. And I break down a lot of different things. And so now, and if you guys can just, everyone who's live, if you guys want to just mute yourself, make sure you're muted just in case. So if your dog barks or anything, it doesn't jump over to there on the replay. Let me share my screen, make sure everybody can hear everything. I'm just going to push play. Give me the thumbs up if you can hear it. No. All right, you can't hear it. Okay, let me see. What am I doing here? Oh, of course, I forget it every time. I got so many sound cards. It's like, hang on, I have to gotta set it to Zoom. There we go. That's the engineer's hat right there. We just put the hat on and now we'll take it off and get back to the mixing hat. So if you guys aren't familiar or anyone new here, I know we got a couple of new faces. If you got any questions, just pop them in the chat and I'll definitely jump over and answer the questions or anything like what did you just do there? What plugin was that? Definitely just yell it out to me because I don't mind taking a break. It's nice getting a 5-minute break from the music. It's good to rest your ears. It's something that's very important. So yeah, definitely jump into the chat and I'll have that open here. So I guess while we're waiting for this to load, it's taking its time to load. Nope, it's just still taking its time. It's good to see everyone. Yep. All right, here we go. Let's see if we can hear this one now. All right, very cool, very cool. Now just a little disclaimer, or just so everybody knows, I asked Jackie to send me some piano, some bass, a loop, and a little bit of a pad thing based off a genre that now I've changed. So everything you're hearing here, we did like a smooth jazz. It was more piano smooth jazz, kind of like I guess something you'd kind of hear at maybe a cocktail kind of party or something like that. But I've changed it now because I wanted to head more in a different direction. After she'd already sent me all the tracks, I wanted to head more of a direction of more of an electronic elements and stuff, which is what we're doing now, and which is actually a great brief for everybody who's in my masterclass group who wants to do these. We have a great opportunity outside of my publishing company. And so these are good going directly to a show. So definitely dive in if you want to do these. This is a great opportunity to do these and, practice and do a handful, practice them. And then once you feel like you're getting the idea, send them in and I'll forward them along to the place and hopefully we'll get them placed ASAP. So let's have a listen. Let's go in from the top and we'll just have a listen through. I don't know if we'll get all the way through before I might stop, but let's have a listen. right, cool. So we got a little bit of stuff I got to play with. I'm hearing some stuff I got to do with the drums there, fix up the drums that I must have missed last time. But also I wanted to, where are my guide tracks? Must have deleted them. All right, well, let's just get rid of these tracks here. Clean it up a little bit more. So first of all, on a fresh listen, I heard a couple of things which I'm going to dive straight into. I would like to do a stop where it's a nice edit point where it comes up and goes, shh, and it stops for like a split second. There's a great edit point, and it just gives it a break, even if it's just a split second break. So right there, so I'm just going to cut. I think it's might be an eighth, or maybe it's a quarter. Okay, so I'm actually going to cut it here and move it back. I want that high right. And we just have to cut the other element so it's a nice clean. Now, also this loop, I'm hearing a beat here somewhere that's it's a little bit, I don't know if it's right on or something. I think it's in the loop. I'm going to see what happens if we chop this up, make it fit right on. It might really destroy it. We'll see. Might destroy the groove. Let's see. Yeah, that's good. Actually, it worked. It worked. So what happened was sometimes when you get loops and stuff from different places, they play with a swing or a shuffle, and sometimes it's got a bit of movement to it. And the more things we stack on top, the more that kind of has to be tight. And in that case, it was a little bit late. Let me just see. Yeah, so that one's, it's a little bit, I like it, but there's a couple of hits that kind of stick out. So I'm actually just going to go with a bit more of a straight sound. Just in case, I'm actually just going to copy that track and keep one that's the original. So I know, just in case I want to come back. But now I'm just going to copy and paste this. Oh, question, yeah. Steve, is that a different track than what you did for part one? You know what, is it? Oh, yes, it is. Thank you. Thank you so much. That makes a lot of sense because I have 3 reference tracks that were sitting right at the bottom. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So let's thank you so much. Otherwise we would have finished this track and everyone's like, what? I'm lost. Okay, great. I'm glad you picked up that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, let's find the real one. So this right there is a classic example of too many tracks getting lost. Since I did that song, I think I've actually opened up probably about 8 other songs. So it's like, that's where I got lost. Gosh, I don't know which one it was. Does anybody know?
With the Jazz 3?
Jazz 3.
Yeah. 1.
Gosh, track's getting lost. All right, let's open up this one. Let's see. Yes, I think this one could be better. Let me share it and then let me know. Does it sound right? And that was not it. My computer died, or my overloaded. All right, loading in. All right, we found the right one. So everything I said before, go ahead and erase that from your memories. Hit the delete button on everything I said on the last one, and this is the real one here as it's loading. And so this is the better one. This is the one that we've spent more time on, and I want to show you some other references as well, so you don't just hear my ideas, you hear some of the other ideas, which I think will really help. All right, I'll go down and play them now. I'm just going to skip around a little bit. All right. All right, so that one doesn't have as many electronic elements. This one has a lot more. And then we'll have a listen to this last one. So you can tell that one's a little bit more organic. The one in the middle there is definitely more of where we're heading for, but you can kind of feel the same. You can feel the vibe of what we're kind of going for. So I'll just dive into mine a little bit here. Yeah, that sounds right. All right, cool. That's the right one. Now we're back off. Now we're back off and running. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'll just walk you through a little bit of the some of the stuff I have here. I have a couple of reverse cymbals. We'll just go through each track, and I'll just kind of mute it. We got some hats. Now I put a big EQ on that. If you can see, I've cut out everything up until about 83, I think it was 8.3K, and I've lifted a little bit because I just want that high stuff. So I just want to kind of get the sparkles. And then there's a little clap here. little snare. And then over here on this next track, I add another kind of a triangle that comes in. And then we got a kick, an extra kick. Now in the first video, you'll see what I did. I took a lot of the clarity out. The clarity that we can really hear is around that 2.5. Things are a lot clearer there, but sometimes that can be a bit harsh. So I took that out of the first one, and then I added a little bit of extra bass and took everything out of that low kick. So I just wanted more of a thump, more of an electronic thump from that one. And then there's a clap in here. It's actually a snap, finger snap, I think, or maybe it's a clap. Maybe it's a bit of a hybrid, maybe. And then something really cool that Jackie came up with was this reverse, the reverse thing. I think it's so cool. So it's like a reverse into the actual clap. And so very nice. I like that a lot. Here it comes. And then I pop the reverse cymbal as it comes in. And what I did was the electronic kind of sound, I added a white noise. So the white noise is like a downshifter or I guess you just call it white noise riser, but I reversed it. And I put that on the end of the cymbal, which makes the reverse cymbal, which gives it a feeling of that electronic element. And there's another little shaker down here. I boosted a lot of the highs and did a big shelf and cut off a lot of low stuff. There's not much stuff anywhere in there anyway, but low stuff, but it's definitely nothing in there. And then I added, the shaker was already here on this last shaker, but I think I just added an extra few layers. And then coming over here to the bass, I actually just went with, I was thinking of redoing it myself on my bass, but this kind of works so far. I think it works. And it's just Trillion. Trillion is a kind of a heavy bass program. They got tons and tons of sounds in here. It's really cool. So I might be going through the bass just to maybe even simplify it a little bit. And then we've got a spare piano track here, which I don't know if this electronic element is going to need it. It's with this kind of smooth jazz, we just want to kind of create this just a background feeling. If we were doing more of that, the smooth jazz in a piano lounge or a cocktail lounge, then you'd need more of that piano going. But in this version, I don't think we're going to use it. So we're just going to put it on mute for now. And then the piano melody, really cool melody here that Jackie came up with. So what I've done is I've made it a little bit more electronic, or a little bit more with extra effects on it, more. I got some delay, and then I have just an EQ. I think I just cut out some lows. Yep. And then when I did towards the end, when we kind of did an A section, when we went back to the A section, I added a different kind of synth, the Serum patch. Let's see what that sounds like. So yeah, and then we added electric piano at the very beginning, which is more of the pads thing. And I add kind of like a Fender Rhodes kind of thing with a bit of wah. And let's have a listen to that. And I just panned it a little bit harder so that it's really going backwards and forwards. I don't know. Can you guys hear that? So that is stereo in your ears. It is panning back. Very cool. Very cool. So then there's another pad underneath, another electronic pad. What do I use here? Oh yeah, just hybrid keys. I just found a nice little patch that worked, and we just kept moving with it. So those two together sound like this. That's my favorite part of the song. This little build that Jackie built up, it's so cool on the piano melody. Sorry, I have to. Sorry, Jackie, if you're I'm just bragging on you. Guys, the track's nearly here. Like this is with fresh ears. I'm not hearing much I really want to change. I'm just going to go over with the bass with a fine tooth comb, and then I'm going to have a look at the melody just with a fine tooth comb. But I think we're pretty much there with this track. It's really cool. It definitely has that feel of electronic elements of smooth jazz. So it's not quite jazzy. It's not like a jazz club, but it's more kind of like it's just got that. It's got a good feeling to it, good vibe. Where it's a little bit classy. You know, that reverb kind of creates a little bit more class, or and having warmer tones with a sparkle creates a little bit more of a warm, more of a classy or elegant kind of feel. And that's what you want. You don't want it harsh, which is around that 2.5K. That makes things really harsh. And if you have a look at the my master EQ, you'll see there's not too much. Let's just put an EQ here. You won't. There's not too much 2.5K. Look at that big hole. There's a big hole here. If you can see that, and that will create smooth. You got to be careful because you do want clarity, but look at that. There's a whopping big hole. It's probably a bit too much, maybe, but we'll see. Yep. So anyway, let's keep going. I'm going to put another something to make it just a little bit louder. Some of our mastering. this is what I use for master. We're not there yet, but sometimes it's nice just to have it ready to go. And you can obviously mix with some of the mastering stuff on it without even tweaking it. What do I go to here? Dangerous. And we'll go to my favorite compressor at the moment. Shadow Heals. It's the red one. It's got a little bit more distortion or a little bit more drive in it. Cool. All right, and let's have a listen to this bass. I'm just going to jump straight into that one. So keep in mind too, these bass lines are great, but I'm just simplifying it for my ears. And so Jackie's given me permission to go ahead and chew stuff up and all that kind of thing. But it's just so anybody doesn't think that it's right or wrong. I'm not fixing things up. I'm just tuning them to my ears. So my ears are saying, hey, hold on a long note there. And that's something that you guys want to do when you're writing these tracks. It's your track. It's your piece of music. Do what comes out, and as I'm listening to this, I'm like, yeah, I want a long one there, I want a short one. Oh, I like that. And I want a long one here. And that's the beauty of what we're, when we do these collaborations. So I think I'll do a stop there. That's kind of getting in towards the end of the song, yeah. So I'm going to do a stop there. One of those these are my favorites. It's like a fake riser kind of thing. Just have to make sure everything else is cut. Yeah, just that little ear candy that kind of highlights that little run. I wonder if I can even stop that earlier. back to bass. Yeah, nice. I like that a lot. Okay, so I'm happy with that bass. Of course, if something jumps out at me later on, of course, we can just keep tweaking it. But one thing that we try to do is, as we just keep wrapping up our song and writing our song, we're actually kind of getting to a point where we're just completing it and fixing anything that jumps out. Now, it's not like kind of a fixing thing, but if our ears jump to it and be like, oh, what's that snare, then that's what we do. We tweak the snare, and then you just keep going until. So if you fix something or you tweak something and then you put it into the mix and you never think about it again, then it probably worked. Then it worked. But if something keeps jumping out and you're like, man, that drum beats, really wasn't sure, and it keeps annoying me, then that's something that you gotta pay attention to, because it'll always annoy you. So that's kind of how when you're writing, and that's what you do. All right, so we're gonna have a look at this melody now. Oh, and I'm just going to take a break and look at the chat there. Vicky says on upgrading to a Mini with an M2, and I'm not having any issues with the DAW or plugin so far. That's great. Yeah, that's really cool. That's really cool. Are they up to an M3, or is M2 the latest? I got a feeling it's M2. Somebody can let me know that one. M2 is the latest. Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, because I was thinking if you watch the anybody who saw the first version, I think the computer crashed twice, and I was like, it's just got too heavy for it. But once I raised the buffer to over 1,000, whatever it was, it definitely was a lot. It didn't crash again, but it definitely was crashing. And so I guess you need to replace your computer depends what kind of computer you get, but if you get the latest one, you probably have to replace it every 2 or 3 years, 3 years maybe. I think they're the latest, complete with the i9s. Okay, yeah. I think this is a Mac Mini here, and I think it's a late 18. So that's 19, 21, 19, 20, 21, 22, and we're in 23. So yeah, so that makes sense. I often say, 5 years isn't bad. Absolutely. I often say that 1 year of a computer's life is like 25 years of a human's life. So at 4 years, you're pushing 100, or so yeah. Oh yeah, and Scott's had some fun with his computer at the moment. So you're at 5. Nope, not fun at all. Not fun at all. The opposite of fun, that's for sure. All right, so let's have a listen to this melody. Now, one thing, I think this had a bit more of a swing to it, and I'm straightening it out. So I'm making it a little bit more on the beat. So this note here, this is kind of a, you can kind of, if I put this into 30 seconds or 64, so it's right on the grid, and it has a bit more of that swing sound. But I'm actually, I think I'm starting to straighten things out. So, yeah, so that's what I'm doing here. Dun, dun, dun. Because I went ahead and straightened up the bass, made it on the 16th instead of any swings. So that's why I've got to make sure I straighten up the melody. I heard a pop there, and look at it. It's me. I cut these wrong. I can hear a pop. I don't know what happened there, but gotta make sure I get these right with no. Always have a fade on these. I think it's this one here. Very cool. All right, good. Let's have a look at the chat here. All right, so let's go back now to the beginning, and I think we're getting really, close. So let's have one more listen, and then I'll see if Jackie wants to jump on and tell us a little bit about how she came up with these parts. That might help people as well. All right, let's have a listen to. What I want to do is, if you notice, there's a big hole in that frequency range, and I think it is feeling a little bit too much, so I've taken stuff out. So I want to add just a little bit more in some of those instruments. So I got to pick which ones I want to have a little bit more clarity or a little bit more 2.5K in. And I say 2.5 very generally. It could be 1.5 to 3.5. So let's have, it might be the Rhodes I might want. Let's have a listen to that. Scott says, I so want that to end on a thick chord extension, 11th or 13th, at least a major 7. What is it? I think is it just a triad? What chord do we got here?
I think it's just roots.
What about add on? Oh, that's just. All right, give us a note then. Give us a note. Let's throw it in. Let's have a listen to that. That'll be fun. So what note are we looking at? It's ending on a. We got a D. We got a D. And we got a B, C, and another D. What do we got there? That's a minor. That's a minor second. So that'd be a 9, minor 9. All right, give us a note and I'll play it. You figure that out. So let's so Jackie, go ahead and unmute yourself, and so tell us a little bit about how you just you can go ahead and unmute yourself and just talk. I'll leave the screen on.
Yeah, so my process with this is we did have like a couple reference tracks that I was listening to and could see that they were kind of moving different chords. Pretty much every measure to every 2 measures was really kind of changing it up, but it wasn't changing too fast. And for this one, I actually had the melody in my head. And so I was singing that melody and was thinking, all right, well, if we're going to go with jazz and we're going to try to get into that vibe, like what kind of chords will I use that will support that melody? So that's when I came up with like, I'm doing like an A minor when you're adding 9s, and I have E minors adding 7 and 9. And so a lot of jazz music, which really isn't my forte, but I've played some of it. It's really about like the different voicings and how they relate to each other. So I thought when I was playing the melody and playing my chords, it's like, well, where's this going next? And what kind of really cool way can I play like an inversion of that chord to kind of support that feel, that organic, smooth jazz, but feel. So that's really kind of where I started with this one.
Oh, wow. And just so everybody knows too, I think the style I sent you was more organic cocktail kind of jazz, where it's, I think there was like 3 instruments. You had like some brushes or something loop, and then a piano melody and just a regular piano and piano rhythm. And it's like, and so you designed this, and then I pulled it apart and went in a different angle, different direction. So really good job. I think it sounded really good, and definitely the pads. I think with this genre, the electronic elements, it really helps starting with maybe a pads or something more open. Let me go down to this track here at the beginning. This is how they opened up. And so then when we listen to ours, yeah, it's really cool. I'm really happy with this. So let's start heading into more of that mixing section. And if you think of a chord or any other notes you want me to play and see if it works, Scott, let me know. And I think it's, what chord is that we end on? Is that a D? Or it's got a D in it. Somebody tell me what the chord this is. D, B.
Be a C major 7.
I probably changed it, so what? I don't know what I ended on. So we do have the root there, the C. Yes, C major, D, B, C, and let's add the a dominant 7. Well, we've got the B already in there, so if we add a 9, we've already got the 9 in there from the D. Yeah, the D is the 9th. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, C major 7 with the 9th. Yeah. All right. Well, C7, C. That's awesome. All right, cool. Well, let's head towards the mixing. I think we're there. I might need fresh ears to kind of hear those frequencies that I was talking about earlier, but I think we're really there with most of the parts here. So I'm just going to make sure that my levels are the right, and I'm just going to put a little bit of compression on some of these elements just to get it kind of kissing or just touching, and then we'll see. So if anybody knows what I did then, I looked at the drums and it was just like -10, -12 of gain reduction, and I turned all the threshold off. So that means that it was way too loud, and I don't know why I had it so loud. So anyway, I turned them down by -11, -13 of the kick, and so then all of a sudden it just gets clearer. Oh gosh, okay, so the bass was coming through the drums bus for some reason. That's what was playing. Now, a little trick that I do, if I want, you can pick and choose. If you want the kick to come through a little bit more punchy, you can take it out of the bass. So you can take those frequencies out of the bass a little bit, it's kind of counterintuitive, or you'd think, oh, the bass, I want to keep as much low stuff in. But if you're working with the kick and you're kind of like, you want which one to kind of stick out more, you can pick and choose. And I want this bass to be more in the mid range, or low mid, I should say, than the super low stuff. So that's where I'm making the decision to kind of cut it a little bit up there. Now you can obviously do you could also do it like this as well, like you move down and cut out some of those frequencies. But I don't want anything down, any of this low stuff from 20 down in there anyway. So I just do the low cut and do it kind of sharp. Now, this is a great plugin I love on bass, the LA2A. If you're not sure, if you haven't used that on bass or vocals, it sounds so good. Again, I don't want to touch it too much, just no more than maybe -2 dB, we'll see. Something dropped out there. What happened there? All right, so those hats might be a little too loud, but I'm actually going to do another little trick here. I'm going to put an air band on it. If you're not quite sure what that is, it's like 20 or 40K. It's more air. You can hardly even hear it, but it might just give it that little extra sparkle on that. Where's my Meg? There it is. So it's just, I'm not even going to turn the compressor on, but I'm just going to use this band over here, the 40K. And that just puts a little shelf around 40, which you can't even really hear it, but it's more of an air. They call it an air band. And so that's the only thing I'm going to put on this. And I'll mute it and see if you guys, I don't know if you can hear it through Zoom, but it's just on the yeah, I don't think I can hear it on these on my headphones either. But I might even put that also on the very at the very end, just to give it that little bit more spark. Anything that's up there will just be a little bit boosted, a little bit more. Where was it? Here's a little trick too, especially we're pushing about an hour now and my ears are kind of getting a bit, I'm ready to kind of bounce this down because I need a bit of a break with my ears. Here's another little thing you can kind of do is put an EQ. I love these ones that you can see, like when you can see the actual frequencies happening. So you could put it on and you can kind of even listen to yourself and be like, I mean, you can even look at it and be like, you know what, it's kind of telling me that some of the frequencies are sticking out, or this may be a bit unbalanced. And that kind of it just gives you an extra little edge. So let's have a listen. I got a lot of low frequencies happening, so I'm going to just turn them down a little bit before we do our final mix. what I just did there, I don't know if you didn't follow along, what I did there is I just double checked which kick it was that was coming through that was really pushing those levels up there. And just visually, and you know, of course, we're going to go back. I'm going to come back with fresh ears tomorrow and hear it again with fresh ears and on proper speakers and running through a proper through a different converter, not the Zoom converter. But I'll actually have a listen and it'll be a little clearer. But this just gives us, I like doing this as well because visually you can see it and it makes sense to our ears as well. Yeah, I love that part. All right, so let's go ahead, and the first step of mastering as well is you just got to make sure you got your entry point or the intro point is the same, or just making sure it's right for what you want, and no space. An amateur will bounce down from the very beginning, and so we don't want to be amateurs. We don't want to bounce down and have 1 or 2 seconds of silence. We want to make sure that we're right exactly where we want to come in. So that's it right there. And I like to do it on a grid. So this is a 16, so then I just know where I am. I know that I put it on the 16. So it starts, that's where I want it. Then we do a fade. Oh, we haven't tidied up the tails yet. So what I like to do is I like to ring it out for a long time and then fade. I don't want any pedals or any off notes. I just want it to fade. So let's see what that sounds like. Yeah, just let it ring out nice. And the bass is going to ring out as well. See what that sounds like all together. Now, one thing I do is when I'm listening to this tail right now, because the tails are it's basically the very last thing, and people often listen to it be like, oh, they didn't wait to go all the way through. And so I turn up my volume as it's fading down on the computer. I turn up my volume in my headphones just to hear any little scratches, or does it fade the way I want it to fade? Yep, pianos are a little bit long, but let's just pull them in a little bit. Let's go a bit long. Yep, That's cool. All right, cool. Let's bounce it down. Oh, now we have to come up with a title. So this is always the fun part. All right, let's take a break for a second. So, okay, no worries. Couple of people got to jump out. Yep. All right, let's go ahead and get ready to bounce. And it's something smooth. It's something jazzy. It is, and the scene, just so that people know, the scene is actually, if you know what kind of scene it is, it's kind of a smooth jazz bar or club where people are kind of seated down more and more having, the drinks are kind of weighted on you more, and you're sitting in more of a lounge. And so I might put in there something like lounge, or not lounging around, but in style or something, or relaxing, or lazy in style, or relaxing in style, or something like that. Maybe I'll go with that. In style, relaxing, or I don't know, relaxing in style, because that gives it that, and that will actually help with the music supervisor. When they see that, they'll be like, relaxing in style. Okay, well, these guys are, that's going to suit that scene. So let's go ahead and bounce that down. We can always change names. Relaxing in style. There we go. Oh, okay. Just before I do that, I think everybody wanted me to play the whole way through. Tom asks if there is reference track. There is 3 reference tracks. I think I might share just one of them, and you guys will see it. But yeah, I'll share one of them in the group, and so you guys can see that. But other than that, I'll just play a tiny bit of it now. Oh, that's because of the master fader. So that's the main reference, and then let's go ahead from the top. I'll actually bounce it while I'm, I should order a drink. Yep, relax and order a drink. Put it on my tab, just tell them to put it on my tab, that's fine. They'll be like, who? Put on whose tab, where? All right, let's bounce this down, and then we can, if you guys got any other questions or anything, we can kind of walk through that. So relaxing in style, mix 1. You guys should be able to hear this. we go. And stop. There we go. Awesome, guys. Awesome. So yeah, we got a few takers, a few people ready to jump into it. Now, I will tell you guys that, and I reached out to Jackie because I'm not a piano player, and I know it needed some piano in there. So I was like, it'll take me hours to try and figure out some of these chords and some of these playing, and I'll be play a chord, wait for the next one, play a chord, and then re-record. So it just take me too long. So I was like, well, I know Jackie's a phenomenal player, so it's like, you want to do some stuff like this? And she sent over a bunch, and so we're gonna do a bunch of these. And so if you're in my masterclass, know that do a bunch of these, because we're going to do an album for my masterclass, but then also the first batch or the first bunch are going to go directly to a show that will use them, and so that's going to be an awesome opportunity just to possibly get placement within a couple of weeks. So that could be really nice. So but yeah, jump into that one. But yeah, any other last minute questions before I let you guys go?
Steve, I had a few.
Go for it.
Hi everybody. The melody is beautiful. It's so intricate. It's just very it's haunting. It stays with you. Is there something would it matter whether it's that intricate or simple, or is it more just the feel for that song that we're going for to give it that, this, like you said, the electronic jazz feel?
Yeah, that's a great question, and it is a beautiful melody, and 100% to Jackie. I didn't know no part of the melody, just mixed it really, but it is a little bit on the busy side. So for this genre, and as I said before, when I sent some references that weren't even like this at all to Jackie, so she came up with exactly what was great for that other reference. Then I changed gear on her. So so the question to what should we do going ahead? You can definitely make it more simple. It definitely needs more. It can be more simple. If you listen to that other reference track, it's a lot simpler. That melody. So, and it's because you don't want to get in the way of the dialogue. But I think this is really nice. I don't think this one's going to get in the way of dialogue, and it's going to have a no melody version, just so if it does, then they've got one without the melody in it. But that's a great question.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it works for what you're talking about. I just think when you get into that, the jazz thing, you can get, like you say, a little too busy.
Yeah.
But I thought the overall feel of the song was just very relaxing, and I didn't feel that it was interfering with anything.
No. Yeah. So just go along with whatever's, but don't think you have to be intricate. Like, just remember that we're serving the actors and the directors in the show, and so it's all about their dialogue, all about whatever they're talking about. And so we don't want to come across, and I've even warmed up that melody. I don't know if you guys saw that, but I took out some of those harsher frequencies, so it was warmer, so that the clarity of the dialogue of the people talking would cut through. And then even if they use the melody version, it's hopefully that there's a bit of a hole there, or it's a softer spot. And that's another reason why a lot of the time people haven't really, it's been hard to use saxophone solos or saxophone things, because it's right around those frequencies. So yeah.
One other quick question.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
On the piano, you're using an acoustic piano sound, but you played around with it a lot. Would you advise not to go strictly acoustic, is what you're saying, right?
Yeah, I would definitely have electronic elements in there. And as you can kind of see, I think it was, what piano did I use here? It was Emotional Piano. That's one of my favorites. I've been using it for a long time. And it's an organic piano, but I did process it. And that's part of doing electronic elements or processing the stuff. It doesn't sound organic. If you just left it like raw, then it would be more smooth jazz without electronic elements. So by processing things, so you could start with the piano, your favorite piano, but then just process it a little bit so it doesn't sound organic. So it just doesn't sound, so it sounds a little bit more electric. And if you got electric piano sounds, those are great. And then later on in the song, I did bring in a total like hip hop kind of synth sound, like a ding ding ding, like a totally different one, and buried that underneath, but it just gave it more of a synthetic sound as well. Yeah.
Thanks, Steve.
Yeah, no worries. Good job. Good job. Good questions. All right, guys. Yeah, we're about an hour there, hour 15, hour 16, apart from the first false start of the other song. So thanks for pulling me up on that one. Otherwise, I probably would have got halfway through the song and been like, I don't even know if this is the original song. But that's what you do. You always do them in batches. Anybody, all you guys know, I always talk about doing them in batches. So I think we have about 4 or 5 of these ones to wrap up and get them off to the show. But awesome, guys. Well, hopefully you guys have a wonderful week, and I will see you guys in the chat. That's it.